Welcome to Transform Relationships podcast, sharing with you authentic and relatable conversations on the ups and downs, the ins and outs on all things relationships. Hi there, I'm your host Diane. I'm a psychotherapist, a counsellor and a hypnotherapist. I work in private practice and I specialise in working with marriage and relationships. Hello and welcome back to my podcast series. It's been a while since I've been online and I'm very excited to be completing my 5 pillars. Today we're going to be talking about the 4th pillar, which is compromise and change. In the last episode we looked at pillar number 3, which was having understanding and acceptance in a relationship. I hope that you did listen to it and I hope that you did take away something from that podcast. I've created 5 pillars to having a happier and more satisfying relationship, and you can find out more about the pillars by going onto my website, Pearl Counselling. The pillars are a product of working with hundreds of couples, and my hope is that you can pick up a few or many little pearls of wisdom that may support you in your relationship today. So it can really be helpful for you and apply it straight away. And also well into the future, because sometimes these things that we learn take a little while to develop, don't they? Just like most things, nothing's just born overnight. It's just the 1 or 2 little things and we can help them to grow into bigger things. And that's my hope for you guys. I'll just go over the pillars again briefly, so if you're just joining me for this podcast, you understand a little bit about where I'm coming from. So the pillars are number 1, effective communication, number 2, responsibility, number 3, understanding and acceptance, number 4, compromise and change, and number 5, which will be the podcast after this one, is goals and direction. Now, all of these pillars apply to having an intimate relationship. When working with my clients, I need to be fluid and adaptable to their unique needs and requirements, as they are all different backgrounds. And at times I might suggest things like a book that could possibly help their current situation or provide them with many tools. And one of those tools would be how to effectively communicate. And I believe that knowledge is gold. And the more you understand about yourself and the more you understand about your partner, the better the relationship can be. And not just to survive, but to really flourish. And it really is easy when you know how. It's as simple as learning to ride a bike. Practice and effort in all relationships equals to making progress. And I often refer to a metaphor about relationships, and that is that to see your relationship like a beautiful, lush garden. If you care for it and make an effort, it has a potential to flourish. What happens when you don't water your garden or feed it? It grows weeds and dies. Okay, let's get into talking about the 4th pillar, which is compromise and change. In all relationships, being able and willing to compromise and change is a major component needed to support needs being met, as well as being able to effectively find solutions which then result in you both being equally as happy as each other. No one needs to lose when a compromise is made well. No one gets what they want 100% of the time. But you need to be satisfied with the choice that you make. The compromise needs to be satisfying to you, because then you are 100% happy to move forward and you won't become resentful. People who become stubborn and rigid when the idea of compromise and change is brought to the table, find relationships really difficult to be in. And they may say something like, no, I'm not going to do that, or this is who I am when you met me, so why do I need to change now? And this may sound like a fair question to ask, and my response to this is, you are not who you were when you met. We all change every day, and the relationship needs to change alongside of it, just like you do with personal change. It's not about changing the essence of who you are as a person. It's about changing certain behaviors. And these behaviors may be affecting your partner's needs getting met. Look, I'll chat to you a little bit more about that later in the podcast. But having an attitude of wanting to be more understanding and showing a healthy curiosity for your partner can lead to having a happier and more satisfying result. Let's look at now why there is a requirement to compromise in relationship. Because a lot of people ask, why do I need a compromise? I'm my own person. This is who I am. But let's look at this in a little bit more detail. So a compromise is a negotiation between two parties. It may mean that you need to give up something in order for you both to be equally happy. Look at how you may talk to your children if you have children, or how you discuss things with your friends when a decision needs to be made. More often than not, a compromise via this negotiation is happening. But today we are going to focus on compromise with intimate relationships. Compromise is needed because there are two individuals in a relationship, obviously, and both have their own perspective on the same issue, and their perspective is right for them. Two individuals have come from unique past experiences and have grown up with different parenting styles, so their perception of the same reality will be different. Let's face it, you have different experiences, different parents, exposed to different things, different belief systems, different ideals, different values. There is so much to a person, so many different parts to a person. And then this one person meets another person, and we're putting all these different parts together. And somehow we have to try and make this relationship work to be happy and satisfying. It's easy to have an unhappy relationship. But to do that, we need a compromise. But to do that first, there's so much that needs to go into having a happy relationship. There needs to be flexibility when engaging in both compromise and change. Because we are all different, and relationships benefit more from having a more fluid outlook rather than being rigid and stuck in your thinking. If there is no openness or willingness, then the situation becomes rigid and stuck, and nothing can be resolved, and neither becomes satisfied. Being able to compromise means that both in the relationship are being heard and understood, and you come up with a solution where both needs are being met. A solution that may not get you 100% of what you want, but you'll both be happy with the final result. This makes you feel connected as a couple, and you are working as an equal team. As a team, most people in relationship honestly don't work as a team. And there is no I in team. And I know you've probably heard that before, but it's true. There is no I in team. Let's look at an example of what may be compromised in relationship. So imagine that you have a difference of opinion on what time the kids go to bed. One of you believes that the kids should be in bed by a certain time, and the other feels it's okay for them to stay up a little later. And both of you have your reasons as to why you feel this way. This probably comes from how you were parented and what you were allowed to do as a child growing up. And this was modeled to you over time. And we copy the behavior because we don't know any other way. That's how we learn as humans, right? We copy behavior, we model behavior. That's how we learn and grow to do things. But this is not always the case. At times we can parent completely opposite of how our parents parented us because we didn't like it. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that. That's a whole other podcast. Couples that are not willing to compromise can develop an argument very quickly from here. Voices can become raised and things become heightened very, very quickly. Name calling may happen, or the conversation proceeds down what I call the rabbit hole. Deflecting, bringing up old issues that are totally irrelevant. And this causes more confusion, frustration, and the original issue, which here was the kids' bedtime, doesn't get resolved at all. And this may lead to the breakdown in the relationship, and then resentment for your partner can develop. Does this sound familiar? We've got a good intent, we try, we don't know how to deliver a message, and we don't know how to receive a message. So even though we come with a good intent, we still don't know how to communicate that with each other. So then we end up arguing, don't we? So I see a lot of couples where one resents the other. And if this is not sorted quickly, this can turn into contempt. And it's a real slippery slope down after that. Okay, let's go back to the above example about the bedtime issue. Imagine if both parents could express why they feel the way that they do about bedtime, and both opinions are acknowledged, and understanding why the other feels that way, and then compromising with each other to come up with a solution together where they are both happy. The compromise part of the situation could sound something like this. So what if we put the kids to bed at 7 o'clock Monday to Thursday, and on the other days they can stay up a little later? The other parent may say in response, that sounds good. However, can we make it Sunday to Thursday, as Sunday is a school day? And they both agree with the solution. They've both been heard, they've both been acknowledged, and they come up with a solution. This works if both parties agree, and there are clear guidelines to how this is going to proceed, such as being clear on the days and the times and letting the kids know what's expected of them, and that the parents stick to their agreement. If they feel it needs to change at all, then have a chat together and make what alterations need to occur. This is why being flexible, when I spoke a little bit before about you must be flexible in a relationship. Things come up, ideas don't always work out. We need to be flexible, have another meeting, have another chat, come up with a different strategy. All decisions are trial and error. Nothing is set in stone. We can do this. We can be fluid. When we understand our partner's needs via implementing effective communication skills, needs can be then met peacefully, and unity as a couple can develop and strengthen. We are all different. And I know that I say this a lot, and can't stress it a lot. We are not the same as our partner. We are all different. And when we choose to be in a relationship, we do need to compromise because there are levels of accountability to your partner when you have chosen to be with your partner. There's responsibility in that, right? We've made a choice to be with the other person. And can I say practice and effort does make a lot of progress. We're not aiming for perfection here, guys. We're aiming to move forward one step at a time, one day at a time, Practice, practice. I know some of my pillars are maybe a little bit heady and there's some tools, but the more you can apply them, the easier they will be for you to use daily. Let's look at the stages of compromise. 1 is understanding what you need, why you have an issue. The clearer you are about what you are thinking, needing, and feeling, the clearer your partner will be able to understand what you are saying. If you become emotional about the situation without clarity, you won't get what you need. It can become an unresolved mess. Number 2, listen to each other's ideas and reasons by being present and acknowledging your partner after they have spoken, regardless of whether you agree or not. This is your partner's truth, and this always needs to be acknowledged. Once acknowledged, then you can switch and you can have your say. Making sure that your partner has finished talking completely before you say how it is for you from your perspective. We're not going to go in defense mode here. It's just about sharing. Number 3, when you both have gathered all the information on your thoughts on the situation, then and only then can you come up with a solution that you are both happy with. You are equally happy with the compromise. If a decision is made without one of you not being happy, then the original issue may still become a problem at some point. And this can lead to resentment and unconscious attempt to sabotage the compromise and the end result. Number 4, the next step is very important, and it is to have clarity on where, when, and how the solution will happen. I relate this process the same as running a business. If there is no set plan on how it's going to run, then it will more likely fizzle out. Or it's like building a house without any plans. It just won't happen. To build your dream home, it takes plans and time on where and how it's going to look. And a good solid house or a good solid business begins with a solid foundation. Whatever is built upon that has a better opportunity to withstand anything that comes its way. So being clear at this point of the conversation and making sure you are both clear on the outcome that you want to achieve. Let's now talk a little bit about change. Just as you need to be flexible with compromise, it also needs to be applied to the idea of change. People can have quite a reaction when they have been requested to change their behaviour. Change is part of life. We all change every day because of circumstances, our environment, our experiences. The changes I am talking about here are about changing certain behaviours that may interfere with your partner's needs not being met, and not about changing the core essence of a person, but only certain behaviours. It's not about wanting to change how your partner chooses to dress or how they laugh or the quirky little habits they have. These behaviours do not have a direct effect on the other person, so there is no need to change them. These behaviours may be just an annoyance, which have no direct effect on the other person. So this is part of your partner's personality, and acceptance may be a good option here. I always say to my clients, choose your battles. Our current state of feelings and emotions are determined by how we choose to look at a situation. It's about perspective. Do not sweat the small stuff, guys. Honestly, it's so not worth it. If the behaviour does have a direct effect on the other partner, where their needs are not able to be met or they've been squashed, then change will need to occur so both partners can feel happy and satisfied equally. An example of this is, just say you like to drive fast in your car, but it frightens your partner. And your partner asks you politely by giving you a reason such as, "Can you please slow down? It frightens me." Then you will need to slow down, as this does have a direct effect on your partner's well-being. And it's not the time to say, "Oh, it's fine, I'm a good driver," regardless of how you think a good a driver you are. Your partner is frightened and needs to feel safe. So acknowledging them and slowing down would be the kind thing to do here. When communicating with your partner, it's all about the way that you ask them to change, and make sure the environment is suitable for this to happen, preferably when you are both calm and are ready to have a talk. Now, if we look at the example above, imagine if someone's in the car, they're scared, they're heightened, their heart is racing, they're probably not going to be going, "Sweetie, would you mind just slowing down a little bit? I'm feeling a little bit frightened." They're probably going to, slow down. For God's sake, what do you think you're doing? You're driving like a maniac. That's really probably realistically what you're going to say, right? What sort of response are you going to get? Like attracts like. If you're going to come off like that with the emotion, you're going to get it back. The best thing to do here is to bear it as much as you can. When you get home, you're calm, you're settled, then you talk to your partner. "Sweetie, I was really frightened today in the car, and I would really appreciate it if you don't drive like that again. I really didn't feel safe." So doing that is the best option, preferably not doing it when you're heightened. When you come from a space of being heightened, you're in the right-hand side of the brain, which is the emotional part of your brain. You're not going to solve any problems or be fluent in the delivery of what you're saying. Okay, let's move on to some benefits here of compromise and change, because it's good to look at the benefits. Yeah, I spoke a little bit about, the negative side and what can happen, and, the resentment, and let's look at the benefits. Number 1, both parties feel satisfied with the resolution. They feel good, yeah? Number 2, feelings of being important and validated as an individual in the relationship. Awesome. Do you know how many people come to me because they don't feel that they're important in a relationship? Heaps. Number 3, problems can be resolved quickly and easily by stopping the dysfunctional cycle of confrontation on the same subject. Number 4, both couples feel a greater connection and loving closeness. Number 5, learning to be more open and expressive provides an understanding for yourself and for your partner. Okay, you're going to learn about each other, and that's awesome. The more you learn, the more you can understand each other, the more you can move through things and issues really, really quickly. Number 6, autonomy within the relationship. Number 7, more clarity, less conflict. No brainer. Number 8, have a happier and more satisfying relationship when being heard and acknowledged. Number 9, having acceptance for who you are and your thoughts. Number 10, feeling of being important to your partner. 11, learning who your partner is. Number 12, embracing differences and creating a deeper connection and intimacy. Sounds awesome, hey? There's a lot of things to gain from being able to compromise and change within a relationship. When you enter into a relationship, there is a level of responsibility to make sure your partner has their needs met and that they are happy and that both of you are happy, and being able to compromise and to meet each other's needs halfway. You won't get what you want all the time. Sometimes you've got to give more than the other, and that's fine. And to be able to change behaviours are a massive part of reaching that happiness. This is having a mature approach to a relationship. And at times you won't get what you need because you can see that your partner's needs are being met. And this is far more important at this point in time than your needs being met. It's not about keeping score. In my practice, I've heard many times people say that, I'm stubborn, I'm just stubborn, as if it's something to be proud of and that it can't be changed. Being stubborn is being rigid. To be stubborn is to say no, it's my way or the highway. If you can learn to recognize that we are looking at the world through our own set of lenses, and instead of being stubborn, we get curious about what our partner is feeling and saying, what's going on for them? It's amazing, truly amazing what we can learn when we approach each other with this attitude of openness. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And I hope that you've enjoyed this podcast on compromise and change in my Transform Relationship series. In the next podcast, we'll be looking at pillar number 5, the last pillar, which will be common goals and direction. I'm Pearl Counselling. I'm Diane Rooker. My business is Pearl Counselling. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I look forward to being with you again soon. Thank you for listening to this episode of Transform Relationships podcast. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to sharing some more time with you again soon. Bye for now.